Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Live. We have a great show today with Johnny and Kevin from Mandala. Before we get started, I want to point you to the links down below in the description. We have links to the Mandala.io, enter the Mandala.io website, Twitter, Discord, YouTube channel. All the information is down below, so check that out down there in the description. Check out their Twitter for the latest updates coming out from Enter the Mandala, and be sure to follow them. Want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a great Kwanzaa and all of the awesome holidays we have this time of year. 2022 is upon us. The future is coming, and today I have two fine gentlemen on here from a very large project launching on Cardano to talk more about the metaverse. You know, what is it? What is a metaverse? All right. And so I'm going to go back in time a little bit. Kevin and Johnny, you guys have been around for a little while. You know, when I was a kid,
not that long,
just a little bit. You got a little bit of a little bit of gray showing there, a little bit of gray showing. And so when I was a kid, there was no internet. It did not exist. If you wanted to look up information, you went down to the library. If you wanted to watch, video, you turned on the TV set and stuff like that. And then, in the late 80s, really the early to mid 90s, this internet thing came on, right? And we would plug in a modem, a dial-up that had a 300 baud rate, or you'd put your telephone on top of it, and it would dial into like CompuServe or AOL, and that was the internet. That was the internet. And whatever was inside that framework is what you get, basically, but you still had to walk to the bank. You still had to walk to the movie theater. There was no Netflix. So over time, this internet thing has evolved and became the now Web 2.0, and we're moving to a Web 3.0. So, what is this metaverse thing? What is that all about? So, Kevin, Johnny, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Tell us what you think. What are you guys working on?
Go for it, John.
Well, we're working on a metaverse. Well, we call it that just because of the common parlance. Frankly, the metaverse as a word, as we first understood it, related more towards, an interoperable network of, say, virtual worlds and other video games and websites and VR and AR and things like this. We're focused on building an enlightenment simulator in what we're calling our metaverse, but really it's a virtual world or a AAA MMOG that integrates a lot of different mediums, television and comic books and web-based content. And so, strictly speaking, we're not exactly a metaverse, because the metaverse is going to be what we all collectively create together in Web3.
Nice. And what really gets me excited about what you just said is I'm an Elder Scrolls fan. Elder Scrolls Online, MMO, RPG, and I found it fascinating and amazing that this massive 3D world that I can navigate through. Kevin, I'm sorry, you were saying?
No, I was just gonna say, and that right there is a piece of the metaverse. The metaverse is here now. It's been here since the beginning of the internet, and we're evolving into it. The same way that we look back at the internet, right? And you look back at even lots of things, the history of America, right? I love when people say this is the Wild West. We heard that in the internet. We're hearing it again. It's only the Wild West in the sense that it's not we're going to go run around and do whatever we want. It's that we're watching the land, right, be built on, where cities will start to form and things will start to happen. And I don't even see the metaverse that way. Yeah, sure, real estate will be built. Our world will be built virtually in there. But I'm looking at this as an opportunity to, from the internet, again, I was around at the beginning of it, and we all thought this was going to be this thing, and we all envisioned this thing. Well, it didn't quite turn out that way. And now this is an opportunity to, I hope, stake your sovereign identity in a new place that we're going to be existing in virtually, as well as this real world. And if those two can merge together, that's going to be an incredible result of the metaverse. And the metaverse, this interoperability, I mean, I'm looking at it now and going, will it look like Ready Player One, where I can drive the DeLorean? Sure, if Universal opens up their IP and allows me to drive their DeLorean, there's a lot of stuff to happen before we can start doing all that. right now it's a place to stake your sovereign identity, get into this new digital realm that's absolutely going to exist, and stake your claims of to who you are in where this is all going next. But we're a long way away from flying a hang glider into Jurassic Park and seeing Donald Duck come running over and say hi.
That's the kind of thing I want to do.
Do we even want that? I don't.
Some people do. Some people maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I've always loved the cutting edge. I was always breaking my computer. I was always doing too much with it.
Same here.
And so now with this metaverse stuff coming online, it's not even here yet. It's just the ideas are forming.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not.
I want to be in as early as possible.
They've been forming for years, right?
Yeah.
The fact that suddenly there's going to be a metaverse happening. No, we've been evolving into it, and people have, their digital identities now, and we're gonna. But I think this is a moment in time to actually go, wait, hold on. Do I want my identity in this world? And I mean both that world and this world, the real world and this metaverse. Do I want it to be controlled by a lot of these corporations and this place where we were, the three big channels on the internet? Or do I want to now have some freedom of who I will be going forward? And this is that moment right now. Make that choice. And crypto plays a huge part in that. Huge part.
It does. I really like the concept because currently you look at how Twitter works and basically all of social media. You can compare, Facebook, YouTube. Then you have Amazon, and then you have your own personal business services such as your banks, and you have all these different things. And presently, we have to manually connect them. Like I have to go into one to authorize it to see my bank card, and I have to go into StreamYard to authorize it to access my YouTube, which is a good thing. But it's still not all the way there yet. Whereas the metaverse, at least the way I understand it, is instead of those servers out there controlling everything, it's going to kind of hand control over to me as the individual. And then I'll be able to navigate the different apps with this digital identity, this NFT that says, yeah, I'm the guy that owns
Smart
this.
contracts, blockchain, tracking a lot of that stuff without you having to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's exactly what drew us to Cardano and to the blockchain in particular. We've been thinking about digital currencies for years in video games. And as we kind of found the beautiful work that everybody's doing, and I just want to thank all the amazing builders in Cardano and on the other chains, and really using this technology, as a tool to make the world what we want it to be. And so when we discovered, we've been building it kind of heads down on storytelling and conceiving of all of these stories across all platforms all at once. And we have a divergent story around that we can touch into perhaps later. But when we discovered the amazing tech that you people have been creating, it just blew our minds. And we have a consciousness-based story that's inviting consciousness to become aware of itself. And so by mounting that narrative and that call to a critical mass of people waking up to their inherent sovereignty and then actualizing that, both from the standpoint of controlling their data, controlling their identity, controlling who looks at what they are and what they do, this kind of thing. And there are partners that we're talking to that are working on some really exciting security measures in that regard. And so we can talk about that at a later date. But basically the marriage between the blockchain technology and a zeitgeist narrative around a critical mass of sovereign individuals who are decentralized, and the decentralization of power so that things don't consolidate like they did in Web 2. That's the Wild West and opportunity that is right now, right in front of us, right today.
Yeah.
That is. I wonder how it's also going to affect censorship resistant. Like once you're navigating through the metaverse on the web, it's another layer on the web. Is there going to be like some Gandalf standing in front of the web portal saying, "Thou shalt not pass," and you can't go in there with your stuff? I'm sure those controls will still be in place.
Well, I think they will, but they'll be in different parts of the metaverse, and there will be parts of the metaverse where anything is allowed or not, right? I mean, that's the part about blockchain and smart contracts. And look, the transactions, the amount the web can handle right now. I mean, we're talking about something that's so huge that the present ecosystem and technical infrastructure still can't even handle. But as we get there, I think you're going to see a lot of what you're talking about, and that will all be on there. There will be, somebody will have a Gandalf saying, "Thou shalt not pass," and right next to it will be another channel or a path, right? And while it's going to be chaos, it's going to be, you know, some Bacchalian orgy going on. So you'll have lots of choices and you'll do what you want out there. I think it really comes back down to, though, what will I be tracked? Will all my data be followed? That's the part that's the most compelling to me. I want to be in control of my data, my finances, my identity.
I would like to see it open up competition and opportunities as well. Whereas a lot of times now in the current version of the web, Amazon has completely dominated not just the virtual world, but the physical world of delivery products. Twitter has dominated. Google has dominated. Like, they bought YouTube, which is fine. They've never banned me from YouTube, but so they've consolidated all these resources to where competition is diminished. But I would imagine in a metaverse, the different pieces of where information is located, how you buy products, how you store your data, where your money is located, you have more control of, and it gives the creators like yourselves the ability to build and compete with the other industries out there, like the Twitters and the Googles out there. I think you guys have a bit of a head start with building Enter the Mandala for starters, and also building it in Cardano. I'm always a fan of that. Now, Johnny had mentioned earlier that you're working with other folks within the Cardano ecosystem, which is fantastic. Okay. Huge shout out to all those Cardano developers out there where these different alliances, the DEX Alliance has just formed. There's a DEX Alliance that came together. There's a Stake Pool Alliance that came together, and now we're seeing a lot of different NFT projects launching and interoperating. Who are you guys working with that you can tell us about? And I know it's hard, but is there any cool things you can tell us who you're working with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Working with, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were going to jump in there, John, so I jumped, but go for it.
Yeah, so I mean, let's give a shout out to Spakra and for helping make this show happen. And that was part of the network and connections. And so they've been working with us on the tokenomics and stake pooling, and we have some exciting things that we're working on with them, in addition to Gimbal Labs, who have really helped connect us to a lot of people in the ecosystem and welcoming us into the Cardano circle in such a beautiful way. We've been blown away when we went out to Wyoming and just met people in person. We really found people to be really awake and really friendly. And in addition to Ikigai is a company that we're talking quite a bit with. They're on the blockchain gaming side. All these partners are listed up on the site. And Kevin, you can fill in anybody else.
Couldn't have done this without Chris over at Token, that's for sure. And NFT Maker Pro have been awesome. We love those guys. They're amazing.
Yeah, and there's some other.
I get in on all those sites.
Yeah,
I like to play the games and get on those sites. I'm sorry, Johnny. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, what seems to be organically happening is that we're meeting, the developers that are running the network and doing a lot of the core development, and there's this organic rebel alliance, you could say, that's forming within Cardano, to go against the centralization power, and basically a metaverse platform company is kind of emerging between our alliances, and it's just naturally happening. We're just doing it. We're already started.
And as we move forward into the gaming of it, right, creating the game in the game space and hoping to use blockchain as much as possible, as well as all this tech behind it with the smart contracts and crypto. I mean, in having crypto, I don't see people talk about buying real estate and buying costumes, and yes, that's all going to happen, but that's not the idea. Is to use the game as a way to allow people to start to figure out actually how to use crypto with each other. And that's both in the real world and in game. And it's, sure, go ahead and buy a shield and a sword, but eventually it's going to be buy a t-shirt that I sell or buy some service that I sell, or right. And I think I'm hoping that the gaming environment we'll start to branch off into that, right? That's what we need. Is for this to actually work, crypto has to start being a currency that we're using, not just a money-making device. And so as we move into the gaming sector, we're seeing a lot of big companies that we're talking to right now who are really capable of bringing blockchain and this technology into that. But we won't say names yet, but they're out there. And Ikigai is definitely leading the charge for that on our side. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just add too that we, there's a lot that we've been doing kind of more in the traditional Hollywood space. I mean, we're published with Dark Horse Comics already, but there's all sorts of game companies and Hollywood folks and that kind of stuff that's going on. But on the blockchain side, with the AI that we're going to be developing for the Enlightenment Simulator, talking with Singularity Net already in discussions around how to collaborate around the data and also what they're doing already in the Cardano ecosystem. And, we want to be interoperable with other chains. I mean, this is a game that is going to be, we're setting up in Cardano because of the ethos of sovereignty, interoperability, decentralization. We heard that call and we showed up and we're seeing that in the people, and we want to collaborate to make that a reality. So when we talk about the metaverse, we're talking about cross-chain. We're talking about economies that go cross-chain. We're talking about tokenomics that take the middlemen out, that take the centralization of power out, and it distributes the abundance to the people. That's what we're talking about. We're seeing exciting things happening in DeFi all over the place right now. DeFi is turning on in Cardano. We are already planning that with the stake pool operators and figuring out how we can marry that with our clan system. We have 12 clans in our narrative that relate to different pathways of how to shift consciousness and make the world a better place. So whether it's Turtle Clan and that sustainability, or Spider Clan and tech, this is a taxonomy that we allow the community to self-organize itself, because we're not trying to control this. We're just setting the game pieces. This is a great game. There's a great game that's already afoot, and some of us know that we're in it, and some of us know that we're players in it, and some of us are still sleeping and kind of NPCs. And so we want to wake everybody up to the reality that there is the greatest game ever that we're all a part of, that extends all the way back through history to the beginning of time, that we're a part of right now. And that's what the Enlightenment Simulator is. It's drawing people into realizing who they can be, who their allies are, and how they can benefit the whole world, because we're all interconnected. We know this, and we have a responsibility to do something about it.
Yep. Collaborate.
Well, if anyone wants to see more information on the Enlightenment Simulator, check out the link down below. I put that specific link in the comment section down below in the description, and there's a link to the brand new YouTube channel, the Enter the Mandala YouTube channel. Make sure you hop on that link, like and subscribe their channel, get those numbers boosted, so when they start launching more videos that are describing the Enter the Mandala metaverse, you'll be ready to go. You'll get the alerts. You'll have the channel subscription, and you'll be ready to go get more information from their creators, the content creators at Enter the Mandala. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kevin. You were going to say, I just want to let viewers know, Kevin, can I say this on the air?
I don't know
Kevin
what you're going to say.
I know, that's what I was going to say it.
I guess
Kevin was the executive producer of the Blair Witch Project.
Yep.
And I was like, holy cow, that is so cool. Am I allowed to say that on the air? We're live.
Of course, yeah. I don't think it's not a secret. I don't think. Last I checked,
it's not a secret. Your name's on IMDb, I think. Whatever.
Yeah. So I look at a lot of this as that. I mean, again, so that's interesting, right? That happened at the beginning of this explosion of the internet, and we made use of that. That was a point in time where everyone looked at the internet and went, "Oh, I can believe everything I see on here," until they realized you couldn't, right? I mean, suddenly the internet was flooded with great information, and then in a second, it was flooded with absolutely inaccurate misinformation. And we played with that, and now I'm looking at where we are now. And I think it was a fun experiment that we did. We told a story in a unique way. I also look at it sometimes and go, but this was like this community VR experience for people in a theater, right? It was this point of view, shaky cam, and yet experienced by a room full of people all at once. And this project speaks to me in that same way. We're about to do that times 10, times 100. We're going to take reality. We're going to shift your perceptions a little bit. We're going to use the technology in a way to tell a story across multiple platforms, so that people start to see things and look at things differently, including Web3 and Metaverse and all this stuff. Let's start playing with it. Let's mix it up. Let's experiment. Let's fuck it up, man.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. That's the only way. That's how you learn how stuff works. You break it, you study it, you research it, you break it, you keep moving, you keep going.
Yep.
Is there anything you could tell me more about the story behind Enter the Mandala? Because I'm an ape. Most people know that I am an ape. When I see new NFTs, if I like it, I go in there and I get it. So I kept snatching up some NFTs until I found 2 really cool ones. Well, they're all really cool, but there were 2 that I said, yeah, this kind of represents me. And so I guess there's clans. What are the clans? What can you tell us about that?
So the clans are the way that so the 12 clans are, in a lot of ways, like I was saying before, the way that the community can self-organize itself. So the storyline is such that this story affects reality. As we shift our perception, then we change, and then we change things in real life. And so the clans are archetypes that are divided in ways of people grouping together to make change. And that'll play in different ways in the game. That'll be different in the MMOG. There'll be guilds in the MMOG. I mean, the basic storyline in the AAA MMO is that there's a battle going on over Gaia and over the earth, over the new earth, and over the sacred sites of the earth and the dragon lines that connect them. And there'll be 2 sides that are kind of battling concurrent in GVG with that. And so the way the clans express themselves in that medium, in that game, will be different than the way they express themselves as it moves out into the mobile game, which is more map-based AR, where you're out in the world and you're seeing the world differently, because now you're seeing more frequencies around you, more reality around you, because you're awake. And then that gameplay will also connect to how you group up with clans of people. But then it connects up to the tokenomics and what initiatives the clans, which eventually will have their own DAOs and have their own financial models, and how they're trying to make change in the world with different initiatives that are in those sectors. So if it's a sustainability issue, then the DAO gets to kind of set that initiative with their treasury forward. And you can think about that across the board. There's a link to the categories of what the clans are, somewhere accessible from the site, and in the blueprint that we have on the website, enterthemandala.io.
But the clans act just as a way to self-organize, right? And then within that, figure stuff out amongst each other, talk to each other, come up with ideas, come up with initiatives, come up with, like John is saying, there will be individual DAOs for each clan. Let them try different experiments with both financial models or voting models, that's what this is about. We're not saying we have answers. We're not saying we're going to create a thing and everybody go follow. This is a place it's a simulator. If we're told we're living in a simulation, as the Matrix said to a generation, I'm not buying that. Sure, okay, let's say it is a simulation. We're creating the simulation. So let's create it together, and let's create a simulation of a reality around us that we want, not the one that's being pushed down upon us from outside forces. And this is an opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from you guys so far already during this podcast. Will there be like the ability where, let's say, a developer wants to create some version of GitHub or some version of social media, they can put that inside this metaverse in the context of a clan. And let's say I navigate to, I'm reading the news, I'm looking up information, then I can navigate over there and I can access whatever it is they're building.
I'm not sure if that's the best way to look at it, because you lost me when you said news and information. So where are you getting that?
Yeah,
who's that coming from?
A bunch of vetted sources.
Yeah, exactly. Or not, right? Or propagandist sources to keep us all enslaved to the idea that we have to do this thing to stay in the system. You know, look, I don't know how the metaverse will look or work, but I do know this is an opportunity for us to change how a lot of this works. And if we're going to GitHub, or we're going to Reddit, or we're going to CNN, I mean, it's time to start changing a lot of this. And you know, one thing that John brought up earlier, and I meant to jump on, which is real quick, is that we're also cross-cultural. It's not just cross-chain. We want, there's so many world ideas that have to be involved as we move forward now. And that's from both past civilizations to current civilizations. So we're on different timelines, right? It's time to start bringing all this information together. So much of what we used to know is lost on purpose or not. And we need to re-embrace a lot of what we knew about the world before and get back in tune with it. And we also have to look at forward and go, what is a financial model without a banking system? What is a organization model without, you know, the governance that the way it works now in different societies and cultures and countries? So it's time to reevaluate. And this is it. This is that moment.
And I'll jump in there too.
We're being offered. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to build on that, Kevin, that, you know, what we want to model with this economy and eventually the currency that will be the in-game currency is the value of consciousness and human energy, just energy itself and consciousness, and how, you know, the materialist paradigm that has dominated our world since, you know, a while now has really taken that out of the equation, but that wasn't always so. And there's cultures that still remember different stories and different ways of life, you know. So in a sense, from the highest, you know, ideal, what the Enlightenment simulator on one level, on a collective level, is trying to do, or attempting to set the, you know, narrative and set the tools and set the gameplay to do, is to simulate the value of our own humanity, the value of our consciousness, and demonstrate that that's at the core of everything. And so if we can model different financial models with the different DAOs that are, you know, to the clans and in the gameplay, you know, then we can prove through the blockchain and through the commerce and through the gameplay that this is if we're going to create an enlightened society, let's say, at least aspire to make a world globally that will, you know, benefit everybody instead of a few, then perhaps these technologies, this tool, we can use a story to bring millions of concurrent users from all around the world, owning their own data, benefiting from owning their own data. And then with the brilliant work that SingularityNet is doing, feeding that decentralized AI, because if we don't have a decentralized AI, we're already experiencing what the centralization of AI is doing to us. We see this right now. It's not in the future, it's right now. So to counter that, we need to build that rebel alliance of a decentralized AI where the sovereign individuals own their data, and then what we can demonstrate to the world at large, to some degree, hopefully, is that consciousness is the key to changing everything.
Yeah, imagine if the fiat of a currency is human consciousness. What is the value of that? And do we then, as a group of individuals together, get to set the value of that? And I think we should. And more importantly, you know, back to the sovereign identity and having your identity, I can't even express how important that's going to be moving forward, because it's not just the idea that you have your identity now in this world and people tell you, oh, just do what you love or just be you. A lot of people don't know who they are. They don't know who be you. What does that even mean, right? But this is an actual moment to sort of define that and express that in a way of, who do I want to be? What would I like to be? And you can do that virtually. And as you sit side by side with your virtual identity for the next trip through this virtual metaverse or metaverse, whatever we're going to call it, I think you're going to start to mirror that and start to see who it is you want to be and maybe become that thing. And I'm very excited and inspired and encouraged that everybody has this opportunity to do that, whether it's here or somewhere else. But that's a huge step forward in understanding a lot of what's going to happen next.
And so the NFTs are related to that. I'll just say one thing about that is that as people are starting to get these first sovereign NFTs, you know, it's a way of, we say that on one level, there's a ton of metadata, there's airdrops that are happening that'll continue to happen. There's all of that building value for participation. But on a storytelling level, on an imagineering level, on a consciousness level, we're inviting people to construct or to build or grow that who they want to be. And that's part of the utility of these first sovereigns, is starting to imagine ourselves going into the metaverse, but the metaverse being a kind of interdimension that gives birth to who we want to be inside the real world. So it's a liminal place. It's an imaginary place it's a digital dimension, but it's interactive entertainment in the sense that it's who I'm imagining I want to be. And now it's who I'm becoming as I interact with my loved ones and the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Embracing the powers that you know are inside you. We're already seeing it. People are getting their NFTs because they're random, right? They get one. And we're seeing people just go, oh, you know, fuck yeah, that's me. Oh, that's what I've always, oh, that's awesome. And that to me is the beginning of it right there. Inspire somebody to be who they want to be outside of the way they've been squished into the box of society. So break out, man. This is it. And if that starts with an image, a self-representation of yourself as an avatar that then evolves into something more three-dimensional and then even more interactive within a game, and then step outside back into the real world because you now feel empowered. Awesome. Let's all go for it.
You guys are blowing my mind here. This is way deeper. Now I see why Joe Rogan does DMT and gets drunk on his podcast, because they have guys like you come on, blow my mind. Now I'm like, what do you think, viewers?
I mean, that is the
do we
point,
need to bring these
it?
guys back? If you think we need to bring these guys back, let me know in the chat. So bring them back in 2 months.
This is
4
kind
months.
of the idea here, Rick, is that we should be looking at the world differently. We should stop seeing it so, no, it's time to break out. And I mean, I'm not plugged into I'm not a gel pack for a battery in the matrix. I'm not. And I think we should blow people's minds. When we talk amongst ourselves, you know, my mind is blown constantly, and we should constantly be pushing each other to do that. Let's blow each other's minds all the time.
Can I go down the bunny hole here? Okay. So you guys you're kind of connected to, okay. Yeah. There's a lot of rabbit holes. So let me pick like 4 of the 20 rabbit holes I can think of right now.
And
I'll try to keep it short.
There's a mole hole occasionally. You got to watch out for them because the moles are very, very subversive and awesome. So anyway, go ahead. Yeah. Rabbit hole number 1.
Okay. All right, rabbit hole number 1. No, we only got about 10 minutes left. So viewers, if you have questions, let us know in the chat. Maybe we can go longer. It's not a problem.
We're just getting started here.
Yeah. So you guys you're connecting with Singularity Net in some way. You can't go into great detail apparently yet, but you're connecting with that. And I saw Unreal Engine. So I think you have some background in Unreal Engine activity, which I'm a big fan of because I play video games. Yeah. I'm a Steam fan. I use Steam. I also have a PlayStation.
Well, I'll just add,
and these are your connections.
Unreal, just so this is very important for a lot of people to understand. Unreal Engine is amazing because the assets that you create for a video game are also now, and this is why interoperability and Metaverse is getting exciting. Those assets can also now be used for video production, right? And there's this amazing cross-channeling going on, whereas Mandalorian can use it on their set. And then yet those same assets can exist in a game at the same rate, same speeds. That's huge. That's huge. So anyway, keep going.
Oh, no, I played Knights of the Old Republic. I'm all about having the Mandalorian using it on their set. And then I get to play with it in my living room.
Right.
So you have these different technologies building on Cardano. You're connecting with Singularity Net. You have Unreal Engine experience, whatever you guys are doing with that coming up in the future. And so in the out years, there's other projects like the Afrix NFT, AFRIXX. They have a storyline, and I'm assuming, at some point in the far future, if there's a developer out there and they say, hey, you know what, we would like to introduce this storyline to the Mandala storyline, and you get a game dev and they talk to the Afrix developers and they say, hey, can we plug your NFTs into this thing over here? And then those storylines can merge with your storylines, or at least, come over and say hi or something like that. Is that kind of where this is going?
I personally would love to see that happen. Again, I feel like there's a lot of tech involved before we get there. And I would like to take those first baby steps. I'd love to see some NFT appear. And I hate that word again, NFT, but let's say somebody's avatar of a profile picture they bought as an artwork from a cool artist as an NFT. That's a better way to talk about NFTs. Sure, why not show that in their game and say vice versa? I would love it if a Nubian showed up when we launch our game. That would be hilarious and awesome and incredible. That's the point of the metaverse, right? That's what I'm trying to say is let's be who you want to be in this new world. And it may be a little ways off still, but let's start moving towards it.
I'm all for it. You guys you've blown my mind on this. I had no idea you were thinking so far into the metaverse that you've gone to the extent of the whole digital identities and then what the clans are actually there for. Now I understand that better. That's cool. There was a few questions.
More about the clans we can talk about too. And we will, and people will, and we want people to figure it out too. I mean, what should Turtle Clan? How should they form? Take their stance, create their economy. What is it they stand for? That should be delegated amongst them. That's why a DAO system is incredible.
Yeah, you know what I always thought would be cool as a gamer is if you could have. So I have in-game currencies. I play Pokemon Go.
Yeah, another great influence on what we're doing. That AR component is amazing.
All right, me and my wife, we're in our 50s and we play Pokemon Go.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, there's overlays. There's in-game currency. Currency. Yeah. I also have in-game currency on a bunch of my other games. And I think that would be kind of cool that if you have an in-game currency or you win something and then that something, if I could bring it out of the game and then I can either auction it on like token, not to make money or something, or I can post it on a website that says, hey, if you have a trophy, you can take your avatar, you can take your trophies from your game and post them up there so everyone can see you're the champ, right? You're the Guitar Hero, right? Because, back when Guitar Hero was popular, the only way to get big recognition was to go to these tournaments. Like out at the university or down at Walmart or something like that. But so you could have like huge tournaments inside these, inside this metaverse. That would be cool. Tournaments are fun. I'm down for that. I'm going to check to see if there's any questions. Reminder, folks, hit that like and subscribe button here on the Cardano Live channel. Help me out with the stats. Share these videos with your friends and family who want to learn more about the metaverse. And hop on those links down below. Make sure you subscribe to the Enter the Mandala YouTube channel and follow them on Twitter for the latest and greatest updates. So, guys, make sure you do that down below, guys and ladies. And even the folks over on Twitch, check out the links. If you're on Twitch, give me a holler in the chat so I know you all are there. Let's see. Any questions that we need to hit on? There was a few, not... Chamonix asked me which clan. I'm going to have to look it up. I don't have them memorized. I got the dude with the sunglasses and I got there's a couple of them with sunglasses. I got about 10 of them. Okay. Like I said, I'm an ape. I'm an ape. I like to get in there and start pulling them. And I've been frying jet chickens too lately. I've been trying to get some jet chickens. But I got me some Mandala NFTs. I might grab a couple more for like friends and family members who can't get in early enough. I get them NFTs and I hold them. And then whenever they start learning ADA and wallets, then I give them the NFTs. Yeah. I give some to my nephew. I got one for my daughter and my wife. Let's see. What about using
these NFTs? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Dirg Lur, thank you for the question, Dirg Lur. Dirg asked about, what about Milkomeda? Now, notice I pronounced Milkomeda, Milky Way, Andromeda. Milkomeda.
Beautiful.
Okay. I
can jump in on that. I can jump in. Oh,
please,
let me
Johnny, please.
No, let me let you intro it and then I'll answer it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Explain Milkomeda.
So Milkomeda is the bridge that is being built by DC Spark that brings together Cardano and Ethereum. They're using an EVM and a couple other technologies in the context of Milkomeda, kind of bringing stuff together. Incredible work. A lot of it's being done by Nico DePrema, who's a very seasoned engineer. He's like the lead guy. He's the lead on that project. So I anticipate we're going to see great things come from it. So Ethereum to Cardano bridging technologies on Milkomeda. So it's not something that you guys can answer, but do you have any comment? What do you think about that?
John, go.
Yeah, no, actually, we've been looking at what they're doing with a lot of interest with the stake pool operators because of the clan system and how we want to launch the tokenomics multi-chain. And so we're super excited about what they're doing, and the DEX is coming online.
Really?
Yeah, we're hot on their trail, ready to collaborate.
So the crazy thing is, we feel like we've been waiting for a lot of these things, you know, in the years in the making of this thing. We've talked about ideas, and now we're seeing them like falling from trees like ripe fruit. Like, thank you. I mean, Cardano was one, crypto was one. Now we're seeing people do interoperability. Boom, boom, boom. Like, keep building, people, keep doing it. We're so excited about Milkomeda.
Yeah, while there's,
is that how you say it, Milkomeda? Do you know that?
Yeah, I'm glad you explained it, because now that we're talking astronomical realities, I want to just, it's calling to mind for the NFT holders that there is an astrological chart that's in the metadata that they'll see in the Sovereigns collection, and that relates to a sacred site in Newgrange in Ireland. Yeah, where on solstice, winter solstice, when the sun rises, it projects a beam onto the back of the stone that's inside the sacred structure. And so that's all gameplay. It's all connected to further rabbit holes. So that's what you're looking at with that natal chart, with that electional chart that relates to.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out, because I love those kind of rabbit holes. My son's playing one of those games that's a puzzle. It's a 3-dimensional game puzzle, and it's fascinating. And I don't play it myself. It's me and the other guys cheer him on. We're like, come on, you can figure it out. Go for it, man. So,
well, you nailed it. You nailed it, because this whole enlightenment simulator and Mandala narrative is like a great puzzle. It's the great game that we're piecing together what our past and what our future can be together, so that we can create reality the way that we want to. And that's a lot of what these breadcrumbs lead to.
Yeah, multi-dimensional puzzle. We're going for it.
Nice.
3D,
thank you, Dirk.
Throw some time in there, throw some other timelines in there, throw some other dimensions in there, and you'll start finding rabbit holes.
I get addicted to that kind of stuff. Like in Elder Scrolls Online, I bought all the add-on packs slowly. I was a slow-boiled frog. Like, I got the first game, which was really cheap. It's really cheap, right? And then I go, oh, look, there's a new add-on pack, you know, Somerset or whatever. And then there was Clockwork City. And at the end of the year, I was like, okay, I have enough for now.
Speaking of frogs and speaking of frogs and the Frog Nation and Ethereum and bridging over to Cardano and Adafrog and Cardano, connecting all the dots.
All right. And so there's on the Milkomeda, you'll have the Ethereum to Cardano compatibility. And there's also another team. The Block is in their name. I'm trying to remember the name of the team. They're building a Ethereum to Cardano, Cardano to Ethereum NFT bridge. Pretty cool. I can't remember the name of the company.
I can hear about that. If we haven't already, we may have. That's ringing a bell, but I'd love to hear what that is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll drop a link like down in the description. There was a question. There's a couple. One of them was, I saw it. Oh, here it is. All right. Thank you, Dirk, for that question. The next one's from Baby Jesus. We didn't want to go into AMA mode because we do got to wrap shortly. Okay. I'm assuming. Just for the time, people coming home from work later today. Baby Jesus asked, Baby Jesus, Merry Christmas, Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus. Cool.
Yeah. What is the next milestone you are planning on hitting? I know what it is. You're going to come back on Cardano Live.
You already know. Baby Jesus already knows. He knows everything. No, go ahead, Rick.
Anything you tell? I was going to say the next milestone is to come back on Cardano Live for an update in 2 or 3 months.
That is one of our next milestones for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything you tell us? Any secret sauce that you can release?
Got a couple things brewing and a couple things coming.
3D games?
We hate to, look, a big part of this is, you can lead things on, but it's almost better to sort of do things. And we like to do things. So you'll see what we're doing next for sure. We are definitely talking about interoperability, cross-chain. We're talking about possible, there's some NFTs, possible NFTs coming. I mean, your pre-existing NFT will have some drops, which some people have already seen. I think there'll be another snapshot taken, and some people will get the drop for them after they miss that last snapshot on the NFTs. There's stuff coming. There's stuff coming. A lot of stuff. Yeah. Your NFTs might start to evolve in the next months. Lots of things. Let's hope you all evolve. What are your milestones, people? What are you trying to hit in the next 6 to 8 months, 10 months, 12 months?
Somehow stay physically fit while playing video games.
There you go. That's a great one. That's a big one.
Life goals. Got to have them.
Yeah. And that's a big part of this. Let's all have life goals and incorporate them on both sides here, virtually and in reality. So,
yeah, when I was a kid, Dick Tracy had this little watch on his wrist. It had a TV on it, and I was like, "How did they get a TV weighed 100 pounds when I was a kid?" And I was like, "How are they ever going to make that into reality?" And here it is. Wristwatch with people that you talk to.
We'll be sending you a 27-inch plasma watch for your arm.
27. Be like one of those wristbands like Predator. Blue Collar Crypto has kind of more of a technical question. What is the difference between the 24,000 sovereign mints and the other 120,000? Do you guys know any details on that? Are you able to answer it now? Or if there's anyone in the chat,
I'm not sure what he's referencing, the other 120.
Yeah, I think I can speak to that. I mean, we have the figure 144,000 as what we're using as an example of what a critical mass is. And so that's a critical mass of individuals that is a tipping point. And that has a different meaning along the way as the story evolves. So it's not fixed, it's fluid and changes. But in terms of the other NFTs and people being part of the 144,000, who are the people that enter the Mandala first, the first 144,000 people, they get in the metadata a cool badge that will also relate to further content that relates to this idea. And so the next NFTs there's going to be an evolution of who you can be and how you express yourself and the utility that relates to that. And they'll continue to change. So they'll be very different. Everything is going to continue to evolve to the point where we get the ability to use the Unreal Engine functioning, and you can create your own character to be using in the AAA MMO.
Okay, so as those additional like 120 come out, they'll still have some sort of sovereign properties to them where they're unique in some way, personalized in some way. I think that's kind of what Blue Collar Crypto is asking.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Thank you for that question.
We answered you, Blue Collar Crypto.
Yeah. And if not, we can always follow up down. Leave us questions down below in the description and in the comment section. And we have people from the team can come over and answer your questions and drop you some links to more information if need to be. Last one, we'll wrap it up for the day. We have a question from Dimitri Soto. Is there a competitive and or esport component to the game? And that's a good question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
When you were talking earlier about tournaments and things, we're very well versed in the esport world, and I'm not so sure I love exactly where that's all going right now due to the corporate starting to look like F1 racing, but there's definitely going to be a lot of components that will lean into competitive and esport. Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, there'll be a ton of GVG. There'll be a ton of GVG. Like I said, the maps are going to be in these sacred sites, and then they'll also relate to some of the NFTs that we do, in fact, that relate to these maps. And so the utility of some of the next NFTs to the previous question are going to relate to some of the objects, some of the sacred objects from time that are collected in the graphic novels that relate to the video game and where a lot of the tournaments are going to be happening. And then also, it's a good question because we do have another strategic partner that's listed on the website that's a mind gaming component. So it uses brainwaves. It's not implantable. We're not into that. We don't have any interest in that. It's an external.
But we won't
headset.
stop you putting it in your own brain, though. We won't stop you.
This is an external headset that was developed for medical, for rehabbing stroke victims.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So for rehabbing stroke victims, the company's called MindMaze. We've had a strategic partnership with them for years. They have ex-Ubisoft people working with them. And so there'll be a brainwave your vitals component to the competitive nature of the game. And that's all we can say right now. And that's highly aspirational in development down the line.
Yep.
You know, you guys, you're giving me goosebumps. You're giving me goosebumps. This is
that's
really
what we
cool
like,
stuff.
Rick. That's what
I have goosebumps every day working on this project with these guys. So yeah.
I'm patient, but I also like to play with things. So you got my curiosity piqued. My curiosity is piqued. When you can't, thank you, Dimitri Soto, for that question. I very much appreciate it. I appreciate all the viewers' questions. We'll be wrapping up here shortly for the day. And I just wanted to tell you both also thank you as well, Kevin and Johnny, for coming on over here to Cardano Live to tell me more about the Metaverse. The viewers appreciate everything you do. We do have other awesome Cardano YouTubers out there. Pete, Paul, Pei, Pratesh, Dan. They all have great channels out there. And
yeah,
so
we listen and watch those guys. We love them.
Yeah,
I tell you, those guys are great, and everyone has their own different style. The different Cardano YouTubers who are out there, and I think you guys will enjoy doing updates and getting more information out on their channels as well, because Cardano is a massive ecosystem, and we've been doing really good about getting people to work as teams where we are both competitive yet cooperative. We know the space is massive. It's a giant ocean, for everybody to explore. And we can all help each other get there and have a good time doing it. So, we're going for number one. So when you're going for number one, you got to do it. You got to be able to compete and cooperate, have a good time while you're doing it, while you're getting there. Any last words, Kevin or Johnny, for the viewers before we wrap it up for the day?
No, just thank you for having us on. This is a blast. We'd love to come again. And to the audience out there, let's make the world a better place together.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just echo that, Rick, and just thank you so much for hosting us. We couldn't have asked for a better host. And also to all the OG Cardano builders, for being here before we were and preparing the ground and making things happen so that we can come and collaborate and do the best we can to offer something for the future generations. And thanks to all of the people that have come in and bought NFTs and holding NFTs and already entering the Mandala and becoming that tipping point that we're all dreaming and visioning.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Thanks for making cool toys. I love to play with cool toys. That's great stuff. All right, everyone. Have a great New Year. I will see you later this week. We have another Cardano Live episode coming up with the team at Drip Drops. So Drip Drops will be on here in 2 days on December 30th. I'll see everyone there. Y'all have a happy New Year. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.